So I was listening to all of his songs, and can you believe he doesn't even write his own songs? It's this guy called Dominic Harrison.
I hate you for that.
I again have listened to all of his stuff from like 6 in the morning onwards. Wasn't gonna, but my brother wakes up early on a Tuesday for whatever thing he does. He does all the different sports. He's a sports leader. Uh, and unfortunately, when his feet hit the ground, you're awake too. So I figured, you know what? I'm just gonna listen to all of Yungblud back to back so that I know how I feel. And before we even like get into any of the albums, what I find really interesting is at this point it's years later from his first album, and the themes, the I want to say politics of it all have not gone away. Like,
hmm
which is really sad when you consider that his album 21st Century Liability came out in 2018. And we are now 2026, and we are still facing these same issues.
Yep, I remember specifically his song King Charles, which I think now is really ironic because the King of England is King Charles. But at the time it came out, it's obviously quite a politically focused, lyrically song about tax and the working class and the troubles that young people face coming into society and all this stuff, right? At the time it hit, and even now, like you say, 8 to 10 years on, um, it still hits. And that I think is such a concern that like no real movement has happened. There's a lot of acts like protests and um like contract and laws and petitions and everything that they're all making moves. But then I'm finding that like nothing is then going past that. It's like, yay, the petition won. Now where's the change?
So if we go to 21st Century Liability, starting
hmm
off, I love the name. Like, especially this generation, I feel like that's how everyone else sees us, is like the way I feel and what's really addressed in this album is the generations before us have given us so much crap and pushed us to the point where we're angry. We're speaking about issues that are like generational issues, whether it's generational trauma or racism, misogyny, anything that has not been addressed before us. And we're in the streets at these rallies, we're fighting it, and then they go, look at these kids,
hmm
look at their anger. They're going to be the downfall of humanity. And it's like, no, you're just mad that we're finally speaking up about stuff you've let slide for generations. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. And I do think going back to the topic of you saying that his lyrics are quite impactful generally, I do think because this is the album with Polygraph Eyes on it,
Yes.
that I really struggle to listen to it, personal reasons and just
Mm,
generally. Um but I do think because I went into him quite blind. Like his song Loner really blew up. I didn't really know anything of him before that. And then from Loner just went, oh, let's have a little look. So I went into every album just blind, didn't see any like online chatter about it. No one was breaking down any lyrics. So I just went through front to back, got to Polygraph Eyes. Oh my God. I think the first time I listened to it, I was just bawling my eyes out. I think it's so well written, especially from a man,
yeah.
given the topic that it is. I think it's so beautifully written. But on a happier note, I love Die for the Hype.
Yes. That one. What's really interesting is when I listen to these songs, yes, I had my favorites, but I was also trying to figure out what you'd pick out so that I could talk about opposite ones. Ironically, those two are the ones that I picked out. Um, I agree with what you say. Like Polygraph Eyes is a really hard listen, but also it really amazed me that again, like you said, this is a guy who's singing this because not once growing up where I grew up do I think a guy would have said, "Leave her alone, mate." Um, because again, it's personal reasons. It's hard to listen to, and yet also makes me feel quite seen with myself and my friends, and just generally where I grew up. Um, Die for the hype. I just I don't even know how to discuss that one. I just think, yeah, like a lot of what I also think is a lot of his songs are really good at whether you know the story behind them or you don't. You can think of something like one that also stands out for me for this album is I Love You, Will You Marry Me?
Mhm.
And most people don't know the story behind it. And I don't even know like how to explain it. Um, I did a little bit more research on it this morning, but even then I'm like, I don't know how to sum up that story. But yeah, I'm trying to think. There's a specific, well, basically to explain it as much as possible, the actual title in itself, "I Love You, Will You Marry Me," is what was written with spray paint on, was it the bridge or something?
Maybe. I
Again,
wasn't really there for like the release of this, the build up for it, the
yeah.
promo, whatever.
The ironic thing is, when it comes to Yungblud, I really do know the songs quite well, but none of the promo or stuff because he was almost blocked from New Zealand radio. I think New Zealand radio is quite conservative.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna say
as
quite controversial and in that way.
that's again like that's something that I really love is a lot of his lyrics are so confrontational. Um,
Mhm.
which is again really weird as a Kiwi to love that because you don't get that. On New Zealand radio, you get 660 on repeat. Love them, but they are overplayed. Um, you get every Ed Sheeran song ever, a few filtered Taylor Swift songs, bit of Shawn Mendes, One Direction, but only on Throwback Thursdays. And it, it's honestly quite odd that I am someone who was able to discover Youngblood. Um, because again, he wasn't on the radios. It's not someone who, growing up in a Christian household, your parents would have brought home from the store. I remember going to a mate's house and we just had YouTube, like, and we were just randomly typing in a few different words and then playing songs. Um, and I believe that it might have been Die for the Hype that we found first because, teenagers type in words like hype.
Mhm.
Um, but I remember thinking like, oh, this guy's really cool. So I'm gonna go and like look into him behind my parents' back on my little Chromebook. Um, Sorry, mom, sorry, dad, but your kid had to get immaculate taste in music somehow.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Parents, but because I know parents.
And Parents was before Weird.
Parents is on weird.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
Parents is on weird. I'm going through the songs now.
Parents came out a year and a half before Weird did.
But it's still on the album.
No, it's on the Underrated Youth album. Weird is Teresa, Cotton Candy, Strawberry Lipstick, Mars, Super Dead Friends, Love Song, God Save Me, Ice Cream Man, Weird, Charity, It's Quiet in Beverly Hills, and The Freak Show.
Weird for me, what I can see here is Teresa, Parents, Cotton Candy, Strawberry Lipstick, Mars, Super Dead Friends, Love Song, God Save Me But Don't Drown Me Out, Ice Cream Man, Weird, Charity, Acting Like That, It's Quiet in Beverly Hills, The Freak Show.
That's so weird. See, I've got acting like that as like a whole separate thing because it's got a feature on it, so it just
Looked
separates
at
itself
the
from my
weird
life.
album and you went, that's so weird.
Parents is Parents is there on
I
the
don't
underrated youth album.
hold on.
There.
Let me just share my
Oh.
screen. Share. You can see that, right?
Hold on. That's so strange. Because if I go to the same,
Let me
because yours,
stop sharing.
it's track two, right? On yours.
Yeah.
Come on, come on, come on. Hold on. Fucking. You can see there that that's Teresa. It's blurry, but that
Yeah.
would be parents. That's too long to be parents. That's
Yeah, that's
cotton
cotton
candy.
candy. That is so
That is
I
weird.
can't say weird. That is so unusual. But that's
Yeah.
also what I was saying about like I had to go and search and then turn on the settings to actually see the explicit songs in order to find King
Yeah.
Charles. I genuinely didn't think it existed, and then I was like, oh well, hold on. Um, dang, why can I not? I suddenly
Dang.
I need to find the song. It's going to annoy me now. I listened to it.
A few moments later.
It's not on Weird either. Where did the song go? I did not make it up. Unless it was on Yungblud, which okay.
Yungblud, I don't think it's on because all the songs on Yungblud are also on 21 Century Liability, unless it's Tin Pan Boy.
This huge construction project could also change the character of
Hmm.
area. That's the worry, at least.
I
Which song was it? This is going to annoy me now.
Yeah, it's not Tin Pan Boy.
It's not six, not seven.
So do you not have the Underrated Youth album?
No. Hold
Oh
on.
my God.
The albums I have is 21st Century Liability,
Uh-huh.
Youngblood Unplugged,
Okay.
Weird,
Right.
Youngblood, and then Idols Complete. This is actually blowing my mind. Like,
So do you not have like Fleabag and Hated?
I think those are on the Youngblood album, are they?
No.
Are they on the weird? Because I've got
I,
those songs.
I just hit shuffle and dive for the hype came on. Woo.
I've no, because I do have Fleabag and Hated, but they're not on any of the.
Yeah, they're just singles.
Okay. See, I'm also going to be honest. Usually, if I want a specific song, because I was using YouTube Music, now I'm using Apple Music, I've
Mhm.
manually typed them in and added them to playlists.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, but when you actually look at the albums, like if I share my screen, uh, that's what I see.
Hold on, hold on. Oh, okay. Okay. I don't think I have the Youngblood album downloaded. I don't think I don't. I know what album you're on about now.
Yeah, but
Yeah, that's got Fleabag and Hated on it. Yes.
the
Yes.
Youngblood album,
Yes. Because you say Youngblood to me and I think of this album,
you
which
think
is
of
the
the
EP that I
EP.
was on about. Yeah.
Um, it doesn't have Fleabag and Hated on it. I've just opened it up.
Oh, well, it's the same era though, right?
Yeah. Um, it has to be, yeah.
2021, right? 2021
2022.
was Fleabag. Yeah, 2021 was Fleabag, and then Hated was 2023.
Yeah. Because I know Fleabag, Hated, and Breakdown are singles, and they were some of my most played singles. Um, what's interesting is I don't think Parents was a single, but in my mind it was, which is weird. I need to stop saying which is weird because it's
Fleabag is not on the Youngblood album.
hmm.
Oh, I'm so confused. Anyways, let's move on. Let's just pretend none of this has even happened. So what's next? For me, it would be Hope of the Underrated Youth. but I
Let me,
don't think you have access to that EP.
I don't have that, but talk about the songs and let me see if I know any of them, I guess.
Okay, so the underrated youth has parents on it, which you'll know. Um,
Yes.
do you know Brain Dead?
No.
So after this podcast, you need to listen to the Yungblud EP and the Underrated Youth EP because they are so good. Brain Dead is a banger. It's like very, very punchy, very in your face, very loud, very just bam, 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 bam. Um, Parents
Nice.
we know, love original Me with Dan Reynolds.
That one
I love that
I
song.
do know that one.
Love it, love it. Casual Sabotage. That's a lot slower. And then you've got Hope for the Underrated Youth, which is like a bit of a anthem, I suppose, for
That
Youngblood.
one
Like,
I that one I do know, which is ironic because it's the name of the EP that I don't know.
right? And then Waiting on the Weekend, which is just a banger. Anyways, next, Weird. We know
That
we
one I
both have.
do have.
Yeah.
I do have that one. So what's interesting is for me, this is where Parents is.
Yeah. And for me, it's not. For some
Yeah.
reason, in the tracklist, Parents just isn't there.
Did they go for milk? Sorry. Fuck.
That was terrible. Shame on you.
Another one I like here is Mars.
Mhm.
That I feel like that really did capture like those teenage feelings of I'm trying not to say the word weird of like life is weird, feelings are weird, um, everything sucks. Yeah. That's I feel like Youngbloods for the angry and misunderstood teens who turned into the 20-year-olds who are going to the riots.
Mhm.
Um, which I love. I think a healthy dose of anger is needed because if you aren't mad about what's going on in the world, you're kind of complicit.
As Halsey once said, I'm tired and angry, but somebody should be. Sorry, Youngblood, for bringing up your ex. Love you. Right.
I didn't even stop to consider that. I just went like, hell yeah, that's so true.
Yeah. Anyways, I really like, hold on, it's not that one. Is it this one? Yes. Charity, banger.
Mm,
Love that. And I really love Ice Cream Man.
yeah,
I have the first time I ever saw Youngblood live, fun fact, was when I photographed him for the first time back in, I don't know, the first year out of lockdown. Because then England went in and out of lockdown for a while. The first period that England was out of lockdown, I went to a Youngblood show and I photographed it as my first ever photography opportunity. I have since photographed him since, and it's like the before and after photos are insane.
yeah.
But that was the first time I saw him live. The first artist I'd ever photographed was Youngblood. So like I do hold him very close to my heart for like career reasons as well. Like he is so pivotal to my growth in my
Mm,
own respect. But Ice Cream Man live was so fun. Was so fun. And hold on. I need to unblur my background for this. At the release of Weird, I don't know if he did it before that, but at the release of Weird, he would FaceTime people
hmm.
just because. Right, you can't tell.
Nice.
That, oh,
I can tell.
yeah, and that's me.
Yeah.
But that, stunning. And he, on FaceTime, the FaceTimes are very short. They are a few minutes each because he has to get through so many people.
Mm,
Um, but he asked like what I do, why I do it, what do I love, blah blah blah, and then he sat and sung Weird to me on FaceTime. And I didn't have the brains to think I should screen record this. So I just had one screenshot. But oh my God, it was so fun. It was so fun.
yeah. That's also something that I noticed is um somebody called in, I think it was like a BBC. Radio One interview or something, and someone called in, and after they did like their little question thing, he was like, "Oh, like what do you do?" And they were like, "Actually, I'm a photographer. Can I photograph your show?" And they actually genuinely got a press pass from that, and
Mhm.
that's something that I've always sort of admired is how real he is. Like he does really want to support other creatives. So if someone bumps into him and then says like, please consider me, he does try his best to make it happen. Um, and
Yeah, everyone I've
also
spoken
his,
to on his team has been so lovely.
yeah, another song that I quite like is God Save Me, But Don't Drown Me Out. Um, I think those, like, I'm also well aware I have a very different interpretation of some of those lyrics. For example, lyric in here, take a breath and try to think straight because there's so much pressure. Like, and also especially with the title God Save Me But Don't Drown Me Out, was one that was really important to me. Because growing up in the church, you do put this pressure on yourself of, okay, no one can know how I think, how I feel. No one can know if I'm a sinner. But the title itself also became quite important to me. If I was like, you know, God save me. I do want to be this good Christian girl in this church, but also like when I mess up, don't drown me out because I'm gonna mess up. And but also like the church, don't let the church drown me out because I speak up, because I have these friends that I've supported who are queer. Don't drown me out because of that. Something I've struggled with for the longest time is I want to love music and I want to love people and support everyone. And I'm going to get so much hate from the church because of that. Eventually, I had to decide, you know what? I exist in both worlds, and whoever loves me, and whoever hates me. Um, and so this song was actually the biggest turning point where I realized, like, whatever, what
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. And he actually also says that, like, the lyrics, it doesn't. Well, actually, I'm gonna go back. The lyric, not gonna waste my life because I've been fucked up because it doesn't matter. Like, I wasted so much time trying where my pre-teen years were spent being I must be this perfect pastor's granddaughter. And in my teenage years where fuck that, let's get drunk, let's get high, let's go the complete opposite way. Um, so I'm quite like impressed that I've now landed on this like I love music. I'll drink occasionally and go to church on Sunday, and I believe in God, but I also believe in rock music. So, and I
yeah, like
believe,
learning that they can coexist.
yes, I believe that I can go and hang out with my queer friends on a Friday and repent on a Sunday. Like, you know, if that cost me, if listening to rock music cost me 20 Hail Marys, bring on the 20 Hail Marys, I'm listening to my rock music.
I mean, I remember when I was a much younger girl, I had a phase where I wanted to go and get christened and I wanted to attend Sunday school and all this stuff. And then later in life, I have since come out and done anything and everything probably that the Bible would go, don't do that. I've probably done it. Um, but I do have some of my closest friends are Sunday church goers. I don't know if she prefers the word Christian or Catholic, I can't remember, but she goes to church on Sundays. She is heavy on the love part of it all.
Mm.
Like she's so into all of this God and Bible stuff that like when I first started talking to her, I was like, I don't think we're gonna get on because of who I am versus who you are. But she is like, she is my rock. I love her to bits. Um, and I think it's so important to be able to recognize that all of it can coexist. Is that
Yeah.
you can you can take the bits of the religion or the bits of the Bible or the bits of the practices that do resonate with you, and you can leave the rest, and like nothing bad will happen. You
The
don't have
way,
to live 100% by one certain thing.
yeah, there are two things that I want to bring up, especially as we discuss more music, particularly Yungblud, and in other people who we want to discuss in the future. There are two things that my Christian viewers, because I know that people from the church still try and support me as much as one of you tried to call me out on Sunday. I'm not hearing it. Um, there are two things that you have to remember, and you know exactly who I'm talking to right now. Number one, the Bible says, love the person, hate the sin. So, if you want to hate people, which I personally will never do, please understand that. But if you want to hate people who you think are doing something wrong, the Bible says not to hate the person, to hate the sin. So, if you really must, pray for them to change their ways, but remember, you should not be hating anyone. Number two, why do we hate and put so much pressure? And when I say we, I mean the church, not me, because again, I would never, ever, just putting it out there. But if God is love, which is literally the number one thing that the Bible represents, why are we judging people who choose love over anything else? That, to me at least, goes against everything. Why are we turning on each other when literally the biggest, most important, above all else verses, all of them talk about loving your neighbor and supporting others?
That's what I was about to say. The only th I don't know anything about the Bible and Christianity and whatever because it's never interested me. I've never wanted to go down that route since like the more I learn about it, the more I just don't agree with it personally. Nothing against anyone who does, but I just know that the main like overarching theme is love thy neighbor.
Yeah.
3 weeks later.
I quite like the song The Funeral. And I love the music video because of the fact that Ozzy Osbourne and Sharon Osbourne are in it. I love the fact that I think Sharon and Ozzy hit Yungblud with the car.
Yeah, I wasn't really around for that self-titled era as such. I was in the music video for Don't Feel Like Feeling Sad Today, and I think that's kind of just before that era. Because I don't think Don't Feel Like Feeling Sad Today is like an album track anywhere. I think it's just like this one-off random single.
No, it's on there.
Is it? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
So
track
I was
10.
around I was around for Don't Feel Like Feeling Sad Today because I was in the music video. It's nothing special. I don't want fans being like, oh my God, what was it like working in such close proximity with him? It was one of the music videos where he was like, I'm filming a music video at this location, show up. And then like hundreds of people would show up, right? It wasn't like a proper, deep, directed, I'm like the main star of a music video.
Yeah.
But being there was still very cool, and doing like that amount of takes was really fun. And a lot of us who were close enough were able to kind of probably shouldn't promote this, but we took things off of the car that was used in the music video. He had like loads of flags and banners and stuff hanging off of this car. So I have one of the banners that just has the letters of the title. So like DFL, the first
Yeah.
letter of everything on a banner that he spray painted on. So I've got that. That's cool. Um, that's kind of literally the only thing I know about that era.
Yeah. Fair enough. And by the way, you did mention that you were in that video a few weeks back.
Mhm.
Um, and because I have edited and got us up to date now, I did actually the other day go and look and see if I could find you. Couldn't, but I would be more than happy to spread a rumor so that people go and look that you're like 2 minutes in, we can see you or something. Um,
Yeah,
I
you know
did
when it
have to
does
go and
all
look.
of the like big aerial shots of this like massive crowd?
Yeah,
I'm in there somewhere.
yeah, obviously, but I was also like, you haven't given me any context on like what you're wearing for me to be like, oh, that could be you. You know, like if you, for example, if you're like, oh, I was wearing yellow, and you're like, okay, let's
Because
please
usually
don't.
people just go, "Where's the ginger?" That's usually how people find me, which usually works, alas.
I mean,
I either
I
stick out
wasn't
and
gonna
I
bring it up, but they were like free in the front. Wasn't gonna bring it up. But anyway.
I was hold on. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Uh,
Nice. So in that case, I might have actually been able to pick you out then.
and then I took like obviously the videos and stuff of me
Yeah.
being there. So that was really fun and like to be involved in such a like big artist's music video was really fun. I've been in another music video of a little teeny tiny artist that I am like very front and center in, but it's a whole other thing.
I'll
But
find it.
yes,
I'll
that
find it
was
and edit in a clip.
I mean I can just send it to you. Um,
That too.
but yeah, that's the only thing I really know about the Yungblud era because I just kind of dropped off for it and then like just didn't really hear much of him from him, whatever, for a few years, and then he dropped Idols, and I was like, oh my God, we are so back.
Yes. And this is the one, not to call anyone out, this is the one where people say, I love Yungblud. I love him so much. And they only listen to this album. I love this one from the first song we got all the way to part two. Cool.
So I just think I wasn't really around for the drop of like the single by single and whatever. I just saw the album drop and was like, he's talking about who it's influenced by and whatever. I
Mm,
like a lot of things who influenced it, so I'm going to go listen to it and see if I can like hear the influences, which you very clearly can, and I think that's phenomenal.
mm,
Um, I love Lovesick Lullaby. It's
yes.
very like Blur sounding. I just love it, and I love Blur. Love Lovesick Lullaby. Love the music video for Zombie, but I think the song is already overplayed. Sorry. Lovely song, lovely, lovely meaning, lovely message, but just I'm sick of hearing it, respectfully.
Mm,
The Greatest Parade, the high notes in that, flawless,
yes.
stunning. Oh my God, can't. Fire, so sexy. Um, Supermoon, I think, is a really good closer. I know it's not the closer because he released part two, but like for part one, I think Supermoon is a really good closer. Um, and then when I went to watch it in the theater, when he released the movie, that was very cool. To see like the recording process and to hear the songs in this like grand hall essentially, that was just stunning. And I know he got very frustrated with the high notes in the Greatest Parade because he couldn't do it, but he was like getting in his head that he couldn't do it. He could do it, obviously. He recorded it. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But he was just having one of those moments where he's like his voice kept cracking. But even when he sounded bad in his opinion, I was like, I don't hear anything wrong with it. I think you sound great. But I think The Greatest Parade is probably my favorite in part one, but
Yeah.
Love Lullaby is also up there.
Mm. I would agree with that. Like, The Greatest Parade is so good. So if we move on to part two, I love this. I feel like I have more favorites from part two, possibly because again, when something's a bit newer, like everything is amazing. Um, I agree that Zombie's overplayed, but Zombie with the Smashing Pumpkins, that had me absolutely gagged. I was like, this is because the Smashing Pumpkins is someone who, like, that's a reference point that my father has played a lot of their music when I was growing up. So that had me absolutely gagged that, like, someone who I listen to now and someone who dad played a lot of their music, like, could be so connected. Um, in the same way that, side note, the collaboration with Aerosmith also has that feeling for me of like, wow, dad's reference point in mine. Um, which honestly, that's why I love Idols as a whole, because all of these reference points are the ones that dad raised me on, but the music is someone who I like. Um, I love the song Time. I think there's just something in the way that sounds that I am almost addicted to. Like I gravitate towards that quite a lot. Um, I love Blueberry Hill for the same reason as I just mentioned for Time, something sonically that I absolutely love. Um, And Suburban Requiem is a lovely way to finish the whole album, which I put a lot of pressure on that track because again, I agree with you. Supermoon felt like the perfect way to end everything. And so I was like, that finishing track for Idols Part 2 has to be good. And I feel like Suburban Requiem is like it is perfect. So
Yeah, I see. I haven't listened to it yet for no like real reason. If I don't listen to something like the midnight it releases, I will just forget about it. And
mm.
it's nothing personal to the artist or like the marketing or whatever, because I still now see so much promo for Idols Part 2. And I go, oh yeah, I should listen to that. And then I scroll past it until the next time I see an advert and I go, oh yeah, I should listen to that. And then I scroll past it. There's like almost like an anxiety around like new things that I'm like, oh, I don't know what I'm expecting, so I don't know if I'm gonna like it, so I don't know if I want to play it. Ultimately, it shoots myself in the foot every single time, but I will get around to it one day.
No, I get that as well because like I have that thing of if I listen to the first song to come out for a new era and I don't like it, then I will not stay up for the midnight release. In fact, I'm about to call myself out here. Did not like Aperture. Did
I
not,
hate Aperture. I hate Aperture.
yeah, did not stay up for the midnight release. But the next day, I was like, I had two albums that I was supposed to review. One of them I absolutely hated, took it off the list. I will not name and shame.
Whatever.
I don't even know why I had that artist on the list, but I did. But I listened to Harry's album Kisco. It's Kisco. It's not whatever Harry's team's trying to label it. It's freaking
They
Kisco.
have changed it to Cisco now. Their
Yeah,
latest emails say Cisco.
good. As it should be. But anyway, listen to that album the day after it came out. Um, or the day it came out if you're American, because again, New Zealand. Um, and I actually kind of really enjoyed it,
It's so good. It's such a good album.
which is
I
really
just always
ironic.
start it from American Girls.
Fair enough. Um, I loved it, but again, most of the time, if I hate that first single, I'm not going to listen to the album. That has very much changed now that I'm doing the magazine. Is like, and I also surprised myself. There are some artists which I wrote off, where I'm like, I will never listen to this artist.
Mhm.
Um, One of the examples is Bruno Mars was so overplayed on New Zealand radio, but I actually kind of enjoyed the romantic. Like some, not all of the songs, like I don't think I would gravitate to the album as a whole, but there are some songs that did actually stand out for me, and I'm like, this is weird because this is a guy who I was like, his songs are so overplayed on New Zealand radio. Never will I give him the time of day. Um, and I also think like with Yungblud having that two disc album for Idols, um, it very easily could have had the same effect as Taylor Swift with the Tortured Poets Department did, except for the fact that he was smart about it. There was quite a distance between the two albums or the two discs dropping, whereas Taylor dropped them back to back, and I was like, I can't listen to anything. Um,
See, that's where I disagree because I think the distance from part one and part two was what made me lose interest. Because to me, they're like two whole separate. That's an album release, that's an album release. Whereas the Torture Poets Department was an album release and more. Like it was in the same time frame. It worked well for me anyway. We all process things differently. For me,
hmm.
that worked well for how like quick in succession it was because you weren't like waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Whereas with Youngbloods, it what took like a year. I was bored.
Maybe. I think it was under a year. I appreciate that though because I feel like I had Idols Part 1 on repeat and just as I was starting to like stop playing those songs, there were more songs versus like getting so overwhelmed so quickly with all of these songs. Like to this day, I can't really listen to the Tortured Poets Department and the Tortured Poets Department, the anthology, because it's so much. It's so overwhelming. Um, but that's a me thing. And the other thing that's like also quite weird is a lot of the songs on Idols are longer. I mean, Hello Heaven Hello is like almost 10 minutes or nine or 10 minutes, something like that, which
Mm.
typically you would not be able to hold my attention for that long. And there are only two people, two songs that have been able to hold me for that long, and it's Hello Heaven Hello and ultra well 10-minute version, Taylor's version. Any other
Okay.
song that gets long and you've lost me.
Idols was released June 2025.
Hmm.
Idols 2 was released February 2026. That's too long. That's 8 months.
Okay, then I'm going to bring this up because I know that you defend this man a lot. So how did you feel then about Blood on the Drums?
I listened to Blood on the Drums about a year and a half later than it came out
Okay,
because
yeah.
I didn't realize he did it because he took too long. I listened to Superboy when it came out, stunning. Didn't realize Blood on the Drums was even coming out, so didn't realize that there was two parts because I'd listened to it so late that both parts had already come out and been out for about a year. Probably
That did
longer.
confuse me though, because for some reason, when it was first announced, I thought that it was like, oh, there's two sides. I didn't realize it came in two parts. And so when part one dropped, I was like, where are all these other songs? Um, so
So how long was it between part one and part two?
uh, actually, I'm pretty sure it was only a couple of months, like 2 months at most.
Yeah, see,
Um,
that's how long for me.
I don't know.
But I listened to the whole album. The first time I listened to Blood on the Drums was November last year.
Mm, which was like about a year later. So.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It's interesting. Like again, it's interesting how different people prefer releases and stuff. Like a one thing that we will get into at a more in depth when we talk about like fan culture and fan things is some people love when artists have the midnight local release and others are like, can we just have one set time? Um, I personally love the midnight local release because I get it before everyone else, and so it's never spoiled for me. Versus if it's like one set time, then I'm usually asleep when it drops, or at work or school or whatever. Um, but yeah, that's been this week's episode of Mel and Mike. Have a groovy week.